Hello dear students, today is the class for standard 11. This is unit 2, structural organization in plants and animals. As you know very well that we have to focus upon the NCERT book very well so that you can compete in all competitions along with your cracking the board examination also with in good marks. For this, you know that in NCERT books there are so many important things, important topics that you have to understand very thoroughly. This is chapter 5 in unit 2 that we have to study today. That we have to study like this, structural organization in plants and animals. First of all, we have to study morphology of flowering plants. But first of all, morphology. What is the word morphology mean? So for this, we have to understand the morphology, uh, the topic morphology. First of all, we go on. This word is very important for a biology student because the branch of biology, when we are going to study biology, we have to study different branches. These are important branches like morphology, anatomy, physiology, cytology. We have to understand genetics. These are the different branches that we have to study, as well as in botany, as well as in zoology. In morphology, the branch of biology, logos. Morphology has also two words, morphos and logos. That is in this branch we study about external structure of an organism. When we study the external structure of organism, that branch is known as morphology. But when we read the internal structure, how does a tissue look like, how does a cell look like, that is called the branch of anatomy. But when we know about different metabolic processes occurring inside the body of a living organism, that is called physiology. When we study about only cells, then it is called cytology. And when we study about inheritance and variation, it is called genetics. So these are the different branches that at the level of standard 11, you must know it. Okay, so what first of all, then there are so many branches, but we have to focus upon this topic more in this chapter. Like here you can see the description of the diverse forms of life on earth was made only on observation, naked eyes, or later through magnifying lenses and microscopes. This is called because that all the external features can be studied externally. By naked eye also, we can see an organism, we can find out the structure of an organism and the shape of the organism, or we can see it through magnifying lenses also. If it is very small in size, if it is a microscopic organism, then we have to use microscopes to study the external features of an organism. So the description is mainly of gross structural features, both external and internal. So we have to study an organism in external way also and in internal way also. In addition, observable and perceivable living phenomena were also recorded as part of description. Before experimental biology, or more specifically, physiology was established. I have also discussed it, that what we study in physiology as a part of biology. Naturalists, who are called naturalists, which scientists are called naturalists. Naturalists are those scientists who discover the different types of classifications. Different types of classifications are given by the different scientists like Bentham and Hooker and Hutchinson. These are the different types of classifications given by those naturalists, and that we have to study in further. Biology remained as a natural history for a long time. The description by itself was amazing in terms of detail. While the initial reaction of a student could be boredom, I think you don't feel boredom because I am not making it boring. I am making it more interesting because how can we study the morphology? We have to study morphology. We have also to know about physiology. We have also to know the we have also studied about naturalists. Who are naturalists? You can understand those scientists who have given the theory of different types of classifications like Bentham and Hooker. Bentham and Hooker system of classification. You will read in different in further. You can see Hutchinson system of classification. There are different systems of classification. Those scientists are called as a naturalists. So biology, you can't take it as a boring subject. You can take it making it more interesting so that the topic will be more learnable to you. So in detailed descriptions we find that one should keep in mind that detailed in description were utilized in the latter-day reductionist biology, where living processes drew more attention from scientists than the description of life forms and their structure. So their description became meaningful and helpful in framing the research questions in physiology or evolutionary biology. But what is evolutionary biology? Don't make it any word, don't leave any word which is not explained to you, which don't you understand. Please raise your hand if you don't understand. So evolutionary, the gradual development, the gradual, sorry, gradual development of an organism, that is called the evolutionary biology. In the following chapters of this unit, this is the structural organization of plants and animals, including the structural basis of physiology or behavioral phenomena is described. For convenience, this description of morphological and anatomical features is presented separately in plants and animals. We have to study the external and internal both in plants also, and as well as we have to read external features in animals also. How the animals have been classified, how they have been classified into different groups, on what basis, what are the structural analysis, structural organizations that have kept the plants and animals in different groups, that we shall study in this chapter. So first of all, we have to study morphology of flowering plants. In chapter 6, we shall study anatomy of flowering plants. In chapter 7, we shall study structural organization. So let us study the first chapter, chapter 5, that will be structural organization in morphology of flowering plants. We can now understand the scientist related to this chapter, related to this topic. Catherine Isau was born in Ukraine in 1898. So we have to know the name of the scientist also with more importance, because these all things are very well taken in the competitive examination, that who was the scientist Catherine Isau, and what was her specialization. So she studied agriculture in Russia and Germany and doctorate in 1931 in United States. You can see United States here. She reported in her early publications, when you also, some students also become the scientists, then they have some publications also, and then they will understand how their research paper will be published. Curly top virus. She has a research paper on curly top virus, and she discovered that how this virus spreads through a plant via the food conducting or phloem tissue. फ्लोएम टिश्यू से होते हुए किस तरह से ये प्लांट को स्प्रेड करता है, प्लांट में फैल जाता है, कौन वायरस, कर्ली टॉप वायरस. सो डॉक्टर इसाउस प्लांट एनाटॉमी, द बुक प्लांट एनाटॉमी, published in 1954, took a dynamic developmental approach designed to enhance one's understanding of plant structure and an enormous impact worldwide, literally bringing about a revival of the discipline. The anatomy of seed plants, another Another book, The Anatomy of Seed Plants. One is Plant Anatomy and another is Anatomy of Seed Plants by Catherine Issa, was published in 1960. The first book was published in 1954, another in 60, which was referred as Webster's of the Plant Biology Encyclopedic. In 1957, she was elected to the National Academy of Sciences, becoming the sixth woman to receive that honor. In addition to this prestigious award, she received the National Medal of Science from President George Bush in 1989. So, when Catherine Ishaw died in the year 97, Peter Raven, director of anatomy and morphology, Missouri Botanical Garden, remembered that she absolutely dominated the field of plant biology even at the age of 99. What a wonderful age, what a wonderful number. This is not a number, this is the age. This is the age of 99, and the director appreciated that great scientist, like, because she had dominated the field of plant biology. She had two books. We have known Anatomy of Seed Plants and another is Plant Biology, Plant Anatomy. Anatomy, you understand? Anatomy, a book where we can study the internal structure of cells. Internal. When we talk about any internal structure of any cell, that means we are studying which branch of biology, that is the anatomy branch. And if we are talking about external features of any branch, any organism, any plant or any animals, that means we are talking about the morphology. Very well differentiated word is it, morphology and anatomy. Morphology and anatomy, we can say that it is the antonyms also. If we talk about morphology, we have to talk about anatomy. Now the chapter 5 comes morphology of flowering plants. This is the root. Here we can study root, stem, leaf, inflorescence, flower. So first of all, we have to understand what is the different parts of plant. What are the different parts of plant? The most important part of the plant, that is divided into two parts. Like if we talk about plants, then there are two parts. One is root. The part under the ground is called the root and the part above the ground is called the shoot. Now shoot is again divided into different parts like leaves. These are the leaves. These are the roots. Now we can study now how root are of different types. Roots, like if we are talking about different colors of different types of roots, then we can say that the main branch coming out of the plant, coming towards the earth, this is called the primary root. This is called the primary root. The branches that the root that develops from the primary root, that is called the secondary root. And the root that develops from secondary root, that is called tertiary root. Very well understand. These are the different types of roots. We can say primary root and secondary root and tertiary roots. Roots have been broadly divided into two types. One is taproot and another will be fibrous root. We shall later discuss it. So we can see the book now. So the wide range in the structure of hydro plants will never fail to fascinate us, because this is take biology as a fascinating subject, fascinating, very attractive. We can be attracted towards this subject. How much we can study, how much we can devote more and more towards this subject and be a good biologist. So you must be fascinated. Even though the angiosperms show such a large diversity in external structure or morphology, they are all characterized by the presence of roots, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruits. So we can see that a typical angiospermic plant has all those parts: root, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruits. So this is the external features, and so it is called the morphology. The external structure, that is called the morphology. The angiosperms are those plants which have the seeds, covered seeds. Those plants having the covered seeds. They have no naked seeds like in gymnosperms. Angiosperms, the antonyms or the opposites we can say, that is the gymnosperms. We can say the contemporary, the branches of angiosperm, that will be about gymnosperms. So in chapter 2 and 3 already we have studied. In chapter 2 and 3 we have already studied like classification of plants based on morphological and other characters. For any successful attempt at classification and understanding any higher plant, for that matter or living organism, we need to know standard technical terms and standard definitions also. So what are these terms that we have to study? So different parts found as adaptations of plants to their environment, adaptation to various habitats for protection, climbing, storage, etc. Like if you pull any weed, what is weed? The undesirable plants that grow automatically, that are not cultivated, they are called the weeds. You will see that all of them have roots, stems and leaves. कोई भी अगर आप weeds को उखाड़ के, you can take the weed in your hand and you can find out what they have. Roots also, they have stems, they have leaves, they have maybe bearing flowers, and they may be bearing fruits. They may be bearing fruits. And the ground part of the flowering plant is the root system. The more important topic in this line has come to me now, and that I am putting in a blue color, that you have to understand very well. Uh, like you can see here, the underground part of the flowering plant is the root system, while the portion above the ground forms the shoot system. This line must be remembered by you. Root and shoot, how a plant is divided into different parts, that is root and shoot. Then we have to come, I have discussed in my notes that the in majority of dicotyledonous plants, the direct elongation of the radicle leads to the formation. I have told you like this, this is the ground level, and if this is a plant, suppose this is a dicotyledonous plant, so the direct elongation of the radicle is developing into the primary root. Radicle develops as a primary root, and the branches that comes from the primary root, they become the secondary root, and the branches that comes from the secondary root becomes the tertiary root. So you have to very well understand what is primary, secondary and tertiary roots. The primary roots and its branches constitute the tap root system. I have told you that roots are of two types. One is tap root and another one is fibrous root. Now you can understand very well what are the taproot system. You can see here a very typical plant, mustard plant, a very complete plant in all features, where you can find that the primary root, secondary root, this is called root system, and all the portions of the plant above the ground is called the shoot system. One is root system and one is shoot system. So we can say the part of the plant under the ground is called root system, and the part of the plant above the ground is called the shoot system. Again, shoot system has different parts like leaves, fruits, stems, flowers, nodes and internodes. What are nodes and what are internodes? Nodes, you can see the point. The nodes are the point from where a leaf arises from, and the distance between the two nodes, is called internode. The distance between two nodes is called internode, and the notch, or we can see the point from where the leaf arises on the stem, that is called the node. So these are the, we were reading about root system. So such type of root which grows under the ground, that is called the tap root system. Now we can say different types of tap root system. Tap root system is the special feature of dicotyledonous plant, like in gram seed, like in cajanus cajon, arhar seed, and like in lens मसूर की दाल जो होती है, मसूर pulsage and moong pulsage. We can see there are all the scientific names given. You have to learn, and I will help you in knowing about the different names also, the which are very important for, like gram. What is the scientific name of gram? You should know, Cicer eritinum. In the same fashion, if we know about moong, what is the scientific name of moong? This is Phaseolus mungo. In the same way, if we talk about adhar, so we can say Cajanus, Cajan. There are the scientific names, botanical names of different pulsage that you must remember also, because you have to appear in the competitive examination also, and for that you have to study very thoroughly. So we have known that taproot is a special feature of dicotyledonous plants. Okay, and here we can see in monocotyledonous plants the primary root is short-lived and is replaced by a large number of roots. But where we are reading about in monocotyledonous. What are the monocotyledonous? Like wheat, maize, sugarcane. The these are the monocotyledonous plants. And when you read about the branches, the plants, when you read the external features of these plants, then you can find well what type of roots are found in there. Most common is banyan tree. You can see banyan tree. In banyan tree, बड़गद का पेड़ जो होता है, you can see very well. The roots coming out from the stems, like this. They are, so that is because they are giving support, to the plants in expansion. So they are coming from different parts of the plant, not above, not under the ground, but they are coming from above the ground, from other types of other branches, other parts of the plant. Like in fibrous roots, as seen in wheat plant, grass, monstera and banyan tree, roots arise from parts of the plant other than the radicle, so they are called adventitious roots. The main function of the root system are absorption of water and minerals from the soil, providing a proper anchorage to the plant parts, storing reserve food material and synthesis of plant growth regulators. Thank you very much for understanding these things. And I think in next class we shall study different types of stems also. Roots you can see here, fibrous roots you can see here, adventitious roots, you can also see the diagrams. These are the regions of root, and we can study this region of root today, and after that I am going to stop the class, because we shall study in next class also what are the regions of root. You can see the diagram here. The regions of root has been divided into three regions: region of meristematic activity, region of elongation, region of maturation. So what is meristematic activity? Meristematic you have studied in standard 9 also. The cells that lose the capacity to divide, they are called permanent cells, permanent tissue, they become the permanent. But cells having the capacity to divide, they don't lose the capacity, they have the capacity to divide, so they are called meristematic tissue. So this is the region where the elongation of the plant always takes place. This is the root cap, and here the tissue found, they have a continuous division process, and so elongation of the plant depends upon the root tip and the shoot tip, because all the division are happening in this region of meristematic activity. You can find here the root is covered at the apex by a thimble-like structure called the root cap. It protects the tender apex of the root. बहुत टेंडर है, जैसे इसको प्रोटेक्ट किया जाता है, जैसे हमारे ब्रेन को प्रोटेक्ट किया जाता है स्कल के अंदर, तो इस तरह से एपेक्स ऑफ रूट जो है इतना टेंडर एरिया है, उसको भी प्रोटेक्ट किया गया है किसके द्वारा, रूट कैप के द्वारा. एंड एज इट मेक्स इट्स वे थ्रू द सॉइल ए फ्यू मिलीमीटर्स अबव द रूट कैप, और रूट कैप से थोड़ा सा ऊपर जो रीजन है, दिस इज द रीजन ऑफ मेरिस्टेमेटिक एक्टिविटी. They are very small, thin walled, dense protoplasm. They divide repeatedly. The cells proximal to this region undergo rapid elongation and enlargement and are responsible for the growth of the root in length. So you can understand the elongation of the plant depends upon the root tip and the shoot tip, where more maximum elongation, maximum division of the cells are taking place. This region is called region of elongation, and the cells of the elongation zone gradually differentiate and mature, and hence this zone proximal to region of elongation is called region of maturation. From the region, some of the epidermal cells from very fine and delicate thread-like structures called root hairs. These root hairs absorb water and minerals from the soil. As you all know very well that whatever the plants absorb water from the soil only through the root hairs. The root hairs are found in which region? This is the region of maturation, this is the region of elongation, and this is the region of meristematic activity. So, dear students, I think you have understood today's class, and many thanks for attending the class. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you have understood well. If you have any problem, if you have any query, then you can tell me. Okay, you can write in comments. Hi students, standard 11, very welcome to my class. This is the class, online class of biology, and today we are going to discuss chapter 5. I had started it also yesterday, and most of you have studied the topic very well, and but it was not completed because the chapter can't be completed in one class. So it is my next class, another class, second class. This is the second time that I am going to continue this lesson, and today we shall discuss about the stem. You can understand it is very important topic, the stem, and we have to study the leaf. These all are the different parts of the shoot. What are the features that distinguish a stem from a root? If you have studied the previous video, if you have studied, then you must have studied different features of a root, types of root, tap root and fibrous root, in which type of plants, which type of root is present. In the same fashion, here now we shall study about stem. How can we recognize the stem? The stem is the ascending part of the axis. Ascending part of the axis. You can understand that stem is the ascending part of axis that bears branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. You can understand stem bears branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. It develops from the plumule of the embryo. As you know that a germinating seed, the embryo of a germinating seed has two parts. One is plumule and another is radicle. As you know, radicle develops into root while plumule develops into shoot. So, here we can understand that the stem of the plant is the ascending part of the axis and that bears the leaves, fruits, flowers, branches, all are born on this shoot portion. But root goes under the ground. The root goes under the ground and forms the taproot, secondary root, tertiary root. So this embryo has two parts, plumule and radicle. Radicle develops into root, plumule develops into shoot, and root goes inside the ground, under the ground, but shoot comes above the ground, and that shoot develops, bears the branches, the flowers, the fruits, the leaves. So you can understand all are coming out of a seed. So the next new word that I had also discussed yesterday also when I was teaching you the typical plant of a mustard that nodes and internodes. A stem can be carried. The main characteristic features of a stem is the presence of nodes. And another one is internodes. So you can understand what are nodes and what are internodes. I have told you on the suit, when you find that if there is a suit and there are 2 points from where the leaves are arising. You can see here the leaves are arising. You can see the leaves without stalk. You can see the leaves arising on this point. So the point from where the leaves arises, this point is called nodes. इस point को ही हम लोग nodes कहते हैं. But the distance between two nodes is called internode. So nodes and internodes are very important features to identify that it is a stem. Because in your syllabus now it has been curtailed that modification of stems are not a part of your syllabus. Earlier we were reading this modification of stem, in which we were reading about tuber, potato. You understand potato? There are different eyes on it. You can understand ginger. Like ginger, if you think this is the ginger, then you have seen certainly that there are some scaly leaves present on it, and there are the different nodes and internodes which can be easily seen. Although it is found under the ground, but it is a stem. Although it is found under the ground, but it is a stem. This is the potato. Potato is known as tuber. You can see like tuber. In the same fashion we can see here bulb. Bulb means onion. These all are the stem. They are not the root. They are found under the root, but they are not the root because they are the modified stem. They have stored food. Their function is not only anchorage, not only supporting, but they are also storing the food. So they are called modified stems. So we understand the region of the stem where leaves are born are called nodes, while internodes are the portions between two nodes. The stem bears buds also. It may be terminal, it may be axillary. So stem is generally green in the beginning, but later on, after the maturity of the stem, after the some time, it becomes woody and it becomes of dark brown color. The main function of stem is spreading out branches, bearing leaves, flowers and fruits. What is the function? It conducts water, minerals and photosynthesis. Some stems perform the function of storage of food. This is very important. Storage of food. We can see in onion. We can see in tuber. We can see in ginger. Protection and of vegetative propagation. So next topic is leaves. When we come about leaf, what are leaves? I have taken different types of leaves. You can see here. These are the leaves of hibiscus. Rosa sinensis, hibiscus. You understand? China rose. You can see that China rose. You can see different types of flowers in your garden. And botany, when you are reading about botany, when you are reading about the different features of plants, you can easily go to the garden and find it in your and observe it. What are the different types of structures that you can found in your neighborhood, in your locality, in your garden also. So when we are talking about leaf is a lateral, generally flattened structure borne on the stem. As you know, leaf is always like this. You can understand leaf. If we talk about leaf, then there are now This is the midrib. These are the different branches. So this is the petiole. This is the leaf apex. This broader part is called lamina. We can call it blade also, lamina or leaf blade. And this is the midrib. These are veins. So understand it. The axillary bud later develops into a branch. Bears a bud in its axil. इसके बीच में जहाँ पर ये जिस स्टेम पे ये लगा होगा, जहाँ पे भी ये लगा रहेगा, जिस स्टेम से जिस ब्रांचेस से लगा होगा, यहाँ पर एक एक्सिस भी हमें दिखाई देगी. और दैट एक्सिलरी बड later develops into a branch, another branch it will develops, and that originate from shoot apical merism. Apical merism, you understand the tissue which is found on the shoot tip, that will be called shoot apical merism, and they are arranged in acropetal order. Acropetal order means that the larger flowers, the larger leaves are on the lower side and the younger flowers are on the upper side. So this type of arrangement is called in acropetal arrangement. They are the most important vegetative organ for photosynthesis. Now you can understand here the main picture of leaf also. You can find here that this is the leaf of a hibiscus plant. We can see very easily here. If we see that this is the leaf of a China rose, you can see here the leaf of China rose, that the entire margin is called serrate. A typical leaf has main parts, three main parts. There are so many parts, but main parts that you have to study, these are the three parts. One is the base, leaf base, the stalk of the leaf which is known as petiole. Leaf के डंठल को petiole कहते हैं, जबकि flower के डंठल को क्या कहते हैं? This is a question for you. फ्लावर के डंठल को क्या कहते हैं? तो you have to know that फ्लावर के डंठल को पेडिसिल कहते हैं, लेकिन लीफ के डंठल को पिटियोल कहते हैं. सो पैरेलल स्टडी करने से हमें और भी जानकारी होती रहती है. लीफ बेस, पिटियोल एंड लैमिना, दीज आर थ्री पार्ट्स. Leaf is attached to the stem with the help of leaf base only. So this is the portion leaf base from where the leaves are attached with the stem. They bear two lateral small leaf-like structures also on the base, on the point where the leaves are attached to the stem. There are two small leaf-like structure. These are called stipules. These are called stipules here. The leaf base expands into a sheath covering the stem. Now you can understand the leaf base expands into a sheath covering the stem partially or wholly. In leguminous plant, many times I have discussed in my classes that what are leguminous plants. All the pulses family plants are called leguminous plants. तो pulses family का मतलब हो गया, आप जाकर pea के plant को देखें. The leaf base becomes swollen which is called pulvinous. Means the condition of the stipule differs from one plant to another plant. The petiole help hold the blade to light. Long, thin, flexible petioles allow leaf blade to flutter in the wind, cooling the leaf and bringing fresh air to leaf surface. Lamina or the leaf blade. Lamina. This is the lamina, the wider portion of the leaf that you can see, that you can hold it in your hand. That is called lamina. We can call it leaf blade also. And they have the midrib. You can see here midrib. This is the midrib that arises from the leaf and goes to the apex of the leaf. And from the midrib there are different, you can see the veins like structures are arising here. These veins are forming a net-like structure. So they are called what? They are called a reticulate venation. They are called reticulate venation. But here in the leaves of maize or in banana, you will find that there are parallel type of veins are present. These parallel veins are called parallel venation. These parallel veins are called parallel venation. If we are talking about the leaves of banana, then we can find here in the way that these are parallel venation. the middle prominent vein, which is known as midrib, you have understood midrib. Veins provide rigidity to the leaf blade and act as a channel of transport for water, minerals. Now next we are coming about that the main thing that you have to study today, that was the uh, reticulate and parallel venation. Reticulate venation, here net-like structure are formed of the veins and veinlets, but when it is parallel in condition, then it is called parallel venation. The shape margin, main function of photosynthesis, main function of the leaves, also you understand. The shape margin, apex, incision of lamina varies in different leaves. There are so many types of leaves. Now we can understand venation also, reticulate and parallel, that we have studied. Types of leaves, that leaf is said to be simple. Life is simple, leaf may be simple, may be compound. Then what are simple leaves and what are compound leaves? Today I have brought the leaves of the rose also. Sorry, it has gone dried. We can understand that how we can understand the simple leaves and compound leaves. Simple and compound leaves, when the leaves are as a whole, the midrib divided the leaves into two equal parts and the veins are arranged in this way. This is called a complete leaf, and the petiole, this is called the petiole, which is attached with the stem, and so this is called petiolate leaves. Petiolate, so this has the midrib, one midrib only and one apex only. But in a compound leaf you will found, you will find like this, like in rose. When you will see the rose in your hand, then the midrib, this is the midrib. The midrib, you can see that midrib is not from one point to the last point. These are called the leaflets. इसको leaflets कहते हैं. These are called leaflets, not leaves, because these are not a complete leaf. It should be like this. It should be like this. If I tell you that it should be like this, one midrib should be there. But there are what happened? You can see the cutting down the leaves. The small leaves are helped formed, and these are called leaflets. This type of leaf is called compound leaf. This type of leaf is called simple leaf. A bird is present. So you can see again compound leaves are of two types. One is pinnately compound leaf and another is palmately compound leaf. Pinnate compound and palmate compound. Number of leaflets are present on a common axis. Like you can see different types of plants here, different types of the arrangement of leaves. That a common rachis, there are different leaflets present on a common axis, which is known as rachis, and it represents the midrib of the leaf as in neem. You can see in neem. This is also a part of the plant, neem, not neem, but it is the curry leaves. And in palmately compound leaves, they are attached at a common point, like in silk cotton. You can see in the picture, palmately compound leaves, the leaflets are attached at a common point. Common point पे ही attach है. यहाँ पर अगर common point है, this is the common point, and if you find that there is the leaf, then all of them are arranged on the same point. You can see here the leaves are not arranged on a one branches on one axis, but leaves are attached to a point that is known as such type of phyllotaxy, such type of arrangement that can be called as palmately compound leaves. What is phyllotaxy? When we talk about phylls means leaves and taxis means arrangement. When we are talking about the arrangement of leaves, then we are reading the phyllotaxy. So what is phyllotaxy? Phyllotaxy is the pattern of arrangement of leaves on the stem or branches which may be alternate, opposite. Alternate, which may be alternate हो सकता है, opposite हो सकता है या fold हो सकता है. Very common in hibiscus plant. Here you see that one leaves are here, another leaves are here, third leaves here, fourth leaves here, fifth this side, this side. That means ki leaves are found on both sides of leaves, both sides of the branches. One this side, this side, this side. Such an arrangement is called alternate arrangement. But when we are talking about opposite side, opposite arrangement, then we are talking that leaves, one leaf is here and on the same position parallel to this another leaves are present. Such type of leaves you can see in guava, where there are parallel leaves, sorry, opposite leaves, we can see opposite leaves. Whole leaves you can see here, whole leaves in Alstonia, and opposite leaves in guava, alternate leaves in China root. So we have understood the phyllotaxy also, and we have understood different types of arrangement of the leaves, and now we understand the flowers. Same as you have studied phyllotaxy, the arrangement of leaves on a branches. Here all the arrangement of flowers, how flowers are arranged in a flower plant, that arrangement is called inflorescence. So what is flower? The flower is a, you can understand, a flower is a modified, a flower is a modified shoot where the shoot apical merism changes to floral merism. You understand that we have studied always that shoot apical merism. ऊपर की जो shoot की जो area होती है, root tip and shoot tip. I have many times discussed with you that the last portion of the root is known as root tip, and uppermost or topmost portion of the shoot is called the shoot tip, and the meristematic division is found in this area only. Meristematic division is meristematic cells are found on this area where all the divisions are taking place. So when shoot apical merism changes into floral merism, then it becomes a flower and internodes don't elongate and the axis gets condensed. So apex produces different kinds of floral appendages. So when you understand what is inflorescence, then you have to write this definition. The arrangement of flowers, the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis is termed as inflorescence. The arrangement of flowers on the floral axis is termed as inflorescence. Depending on whether the apex gets developed into a flower or continues to grow, two major types of inflorescence are defined. So how many types of inflorescence we have studied? One is racemose type of inflorescence and another is cymose type of inflorescence. What happens in racemose type of inflorescence? That the flower continues to grow. Flower continues to grow and the axis does not terminate with the flower. But in cymose type of inflorescence, the floral axis terminates with the flower and now the growth stops. So it is cymose type of inflorescence. Here you can see that the growth will be continuous and it will be called as racemose, it will be called as cymose inflorescence. In racemose, apropetal, in cymose, basipetal inflorescence. Now we come about flower. What is flower? If we talk about a flower, then this you can see this is the flower. This is a complete flower. And when you talk about a typical flower, then we must study the flower of a China rose. You can understand here very well. This is the China rose and it has how many parts? Like you can understand very well if you know that how you can study. One minute. Yes. Now we can understand that what is flower. Then flower, typical flower. A typical flower understands, we can say that the flower is divided into four parts. One is, first is calyx. Don't get bored, but chalo. You are very interesting. When you study biology, you will find more fun, and it is so nice to teach you. You will find my lectures also interesting. If you don't find, if you want any, then you can comment me also, and I will prepare the video according to you, whatever you think that it should be in easier way. So androecium, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. There are four parts of a flower. Then the first part is the calyx, second part is the corolla, third part is androecium and fourth is gynoecium. You can say the reproductive unit of a plant is the flower. Flower is the reproductive unit of the angiosperm meant for sexual reproduction, and it is all the floral parts are located on a swollen portion which is known as thalamus. The another name of thalamus is receptacle. You can understand calyx and corolla are the accessory hold. Calyx and corolla are accessory, while androecium and gynoecium are called reproductive holds. In calyx, the first unit, one unit of calyx is known as sepal, one unit of corolla is known as petal, and one unit of androecium is known as stamen, and one unit of gynoecium is known as carpel. When a plant has both stamens and carpels present in it, then it is called a bisexual flower. When only stamen is present or only carpel is present, that will be called as unisexual flower. So you have to understand sepals, petals, stamens, carpels. Now we understand which type of flower is called actinomorphic or zygomorphic. We can discuss it in another day. Okay. Let us thanks to all of you for attending the session. Next class we shall understand the position of the flowers. Okay, thank you.